Bitcoin becomes the global reserve asset, is it crazy to think that Bitcoin gets 5% share of $900 trillion? If Bitcoin gets 5% of $900 trillion, that's $45 trillion.
Over the past few days, the world's biggest and most popular cryptocurrency has been on a recovery path. Currently sitting at over $44,000 per coin, Bitcoin has had a 15% increase in a month and a 14% increase over the week. The King crypto is breaking many misconceptions formed about it by naysayers. First, it is holding on pretty well despite all the geopolitical tension. In fact, the demand for Bitcoin has increased in Russia and Ukraine over the past few days, so has the price of Bitcoin. According to new reports from Barron's, it has also decoupled from stocks, proving that it is much bigger than just another tech stock. Amidst all these, Greg Foss sees a very positive future for the digital asset. In a recent interview with Stansberry Research, the former hedge fund manager and trader predicts that Bitcoin will become the global reserve asset one day. Foss sees prices rising to at least $2 million per coin when this happens. The risk manager does not just base his predictions on emotions or sentiments. He believes Bitcoin's rise can be predicted using a few simple mathematical principles. Welcome to Savvy Finance. This video examines Greg Foss's $2 million price prediction for Bitcoin. In his interview, Foss predicts an astronomical rise for the asset and explains how Bitcoin is going to clear up the mess created by fiat currencies. Please watch, share, and like the video. We would also love to hear from you. So remember to drop your comments in the comment section below. Thanks for your continued support. Greg Foss has over 3 decades of experience in banks, bonds, and the credit market as a whole. The former portfolio manager is a strong Bitcoin bull. However, his love for Bitcoin is not just based on sentiments. He explains that Bitcoin has many great qualities that set it aside from other assets, even gold. Foss has the gravitation towards gold and away from Bitcoin after Russia's first attack on Ukraine last Thursday shows that many money managers don't understand the best qualities of Bitcoin. He adds that gold might seem like a better asset in the short term, but Bitcoin will be far more valuable in the long term.
I own Bitcoin, and I own gold, and I own silver, and I own other hard assets. But what you are seeing is the traditional old money versus new money gravitating to the traditional risk asset in the event of global unrest, and that's gold. The short term is that Bitcoin is still treated as a risk asset. So when equities fall, Bitcoin will fall. You can even argue that Bitcoin leads them down, given that Bitcoin trades 24/7. My experience is this: in my experience, 30 years in the financial markets, it takes a long time for the markets to learn the true characteristics of an asset. Bitcoin's only 13 years old. Most money managers do not understand the most beautiful characteristics of Bitcoin, which I, as a credit manager, view that Bitcoin is actually a short credit position, meaning when you own Bitcoin, you have a short position on sovereign debt. And I love that, because when you are short credit, you are long volatility, you are long insurance. And it takes a while for the market to understand it. I believe there are times when Bitcoin does perform as an insurance policy. There are other times when the big money and the hedge fund guys will short it as a correlation trade against other hedge fund or other risk assets. So you can draw conclusions in the short term. The long term is this: gold is fine, Bitcoin is way better. But I own both. As a risk manager, I don't go all in on any one trade. But let's be honest, for the last 10 years, gold has been a bit of a non-performer. And it's finally performing, and I'm happy about that because I have a position in gold, a long position. I have a very good friend who I think is one of the best risk managers, publicly traded risk managers out there. His name is Lawrence Lepard, and he is a gold manager who is moving money into Bitcoin because he feels the same way as I do, that in the long run, Bitcoin is the better horse at the race.
Greg Foss has previously predicted that Bitcoin will hit $2 million than $20 million. He still stands by this prediction and bases it on the eventuality that the crypto will become the global reserve asset one day. In his interview, he states that this will happen sooner rather than later as more countries are going pro-Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does become the global reserve asset, it will eat into the market share of assets like bonds, gold, and real estate. Foss adds that the total global finance asset is currently worth around $900 trillion. If Bitcoin takes up only 5% of that with a fixed supply of only 21 million coins, its price will skyrocket.
So I'm an engineer, Daniela. We talked earlier. I went to McGill University. I was an engineer, but then graduated into the financial engineering business. So everything I do is probabilities based. Everything I do is based on mathematics. And that's what's great about credit, because credit is all math, okay? Equities, you can call it math, but there's a lot of subjectivity to equities because, oh, I see a company growing at this rate. Fixed income is exactly that. There's no growth in fixed income. It's a fixed contract. So credit is pure math, and that's why I am very comfortable with credit as an engineer. Engineers are typically good at math, but here's how I get there. Very simply, look. The total global financial assets in the world are 900 trillion US dollars in today's dollars, okay? 900 trillion US dollars. That includes all global debt, not just government debt, global debt, bank debt, provincial debt, state debt, muni debt, structured debt. That's about 400 trillion. It includes all global equities. It includes all global currencies. It includes gold, which is 10 trillion for a total. Oh, and it includes all global real estate for a total value of $900 trillion. That's what I term as my total addressable market, because Bitcoin is a financial asset that, in my opinion, is going to eat the lunch of a lot of these other financial assets, in particular bonds. I've spent 30 years in bonds, and I can tell you with no degree of uncertainty, they are absolutely the worst investment you can possibly make for your money. And that's $400 trillion of this 900 trillion pie. Anyway, stick with me. $900 trillion. I believe that Bitcoin someday will become the reserve asset, global reserve asset. And when that happens, and it'll probably happen because a country like Russia wants to get paid for its oil in Bitcoin rather than in US dollars. Why? Well, Bitcoin is monetary energy. It requires proof of work. And natural resource energy for monetary energy makes a whole lot more sense in my mind than natural resource energy for worthless and debasing fiat dollars. As an engineer, I like the conservation of energy principle. I know Michael Saylor is a big fan of that too. So if that happens, is it crazy to think, again, if Bitcoin becomes the global reserve asset, is it crazy to think that Bitcoin gets 5% share of $900 trillion? Don't forget, right now, the global reserve asset is treasury bonds, US treasuries. If Bitcoin gets 5% of $900 trillion, that's $45 trillion. What's 45 trillion divided by 21 million fixed supply of Bitcoin? That's $2 million per Bitcoin. That's with a 5% market share. In today's dollars, what if it gets 20% market share? That's how you get extremely large numbers. So this is all I am saying. I'll start with a 5% target. It's not a limit, it's a target. And 5% of 900 trillion is 45 trillion. 45 trillion divided by 21 million is 2 million US dollars per Bitcoin in today's dollars. Put a probability on that. I say I do a probability distribution, or I can do a binary distribution. I don't want to lose your viewers too much, but let's do a very simple binary distribution. What if there's a 10% chance Bitcoin attains my price target in today's dollars and a 90% chance it goes to zero? The expected value of that binary distribution, meaning only one of two outcomes, is $200,000 per Bitcoin. Well, it's trading at 40,000. That, to make the math easy, 1/5 of where that probability distribution says it should trade. Now you can actually change the distribution as you like. What if you say, okay, it's a 50% chance it goes to zero, a 50% chance it goes to 2 million. Well, then all of a sudden that expected value is $1 million of Bitcoin in today's dollars. So Danielle, all I'm saying is you got to look at these. It's like going to the horse track and you've watched a horse train and you think this horse is one of the top horses in the race, but the racetrack is giving you a 100-to-1 odds that it'll win. And you're like, man, I think the odds of this guy winning is at least 1 in 10. You're supposed to put bets on that guy because the track is giving you odds that are in your favor. And it's the same with Bitcoin. It currently is trading in the markets at 1/50th, or sorry, it's currently trading in the market at a probability of it getting to $2 million of only 1/50th, right? A 2% chance. I'm taking those odds because I think the chances are it gets there. I'm not going to say over 50%, but certainly over 30%.
There is no doubt that the traditional banking and investment system is in trouble. We needed an asset that eradicates or drastically limits the meddling of the higher powers. This need gave rise to the birth of Bitcoin, and so far it has proven to be very valuable. Though it is only 13 years old, it has achieved many interesting feats that took decades for other assets. Its adoption rate is also very fast. So, it would be only a matter of time before we see the scenario described by Greg Foss play out. Are you excited about the prospect of seeing your portfolio with a lot more zeros, or do you believe Greg Foss' prediction is too much of a stretch? Please leave your comments in the comments section below and remember to click the like button. Thanks for watching.